Have you ever wondered what it would be like to leave behind the noise of everyday life and start fresh in the quiet of the forest? That question is at the heart of Erik Grankvist's story. At 18, he chose not to follow the usual path of university or city living. Instead, he stepped into the Swedish wilderness with a backpack of hand tools and the dream of building a cabin. On his channel, viewers watch him quietly shaping logs, striking wood with an axe, tending to a crackling fire, and working in rhythm with the sounds of birds around him. It's simple, yet powerful, and it has captured the attention of millions around the world. However, his path wasn't easy, and it certainly wasn't guaranteed. To truly understand how he became the man behind one of the most calming and inspiring channels on the internet, we need to go back to where it all began, to a young man still searching for his place in the world. Erik Grankvist was born on June 13, 1999 in Sweden, a country where forests stretch endlessly and winters are long and unforgiving. From an early age, the woods felt like home to him. Out there, surrounded by trees and silence, he discovered a freedom he rarely felt in classrooms or other structured settings. Family played a big part in shaping who Erik would become. His grandfather, Åke Nilsson, was especially influential. More than just a mentor, Åke was a keeper of traditional knowledge. He showed Erik the importance of working with his hands, respecting nature's resources, and practicing patience in a world that always seemed in a hurry. These lessons planted the seeds for what would later grow into Erik's remarkable project. School life, meanwhile, left Erik feeling restless. He wasn't a troublemaker, but while his classmates dreamed of city jobs or universities, Erik's thoughts wandered back to the forest. He sensed there was another way to live, one closer to the land, quieter, and more meaningful. The moment of clarity came when Erik was about 17. That's when he discovered wilderness documentaries, especially Alone in the Wilderness. The film followed a man who built a cabin in the Alaskan wild, crafting his tools and shelter with his own hands. For many, it was just a glimpse into another world. For Erik, it was a revelation, a vision of the life he longed to create for himself. Erik's dream of building a log cabin was not just a passing thought. It was a vision that grew stronger with time. He imagined creating a home from scratch, using only hand tools and the raw resources of the forest. By the summer of 2019, just after graduating high school, that vision had become impossible to ignore. For most people his age, this stage of life meant deciding between university, work, or some other safe path. But Erik chose differently. At 18, he stepped away from expectations and walked into the Swedish wilderness with nothing but a backpack of simple tools and the determination to carve out his own life. He had no formal training in carpentry, no background in construction, and no roadmap to follow. What he did have was belief, a quiet conviction that the forest could teach him what he needed to know. The early days tested him in ways he had never experienced. Swinging an axe for hours to fell trees drained his strength. Hauling and stacking heavy logs left his body aching. Mistakes forced him to start over, costing him time and energy, and nature itself was relentless. Sudden rains soaked his clothes, winds bit through the trees, and cold nights reminded him how unforgiving the wilderness could be. Still, Erik pressed on. Each tree he cut, each joint he shaped, brought the cabin one step closer to reality. Slowly, walls began to rise from the forest floor. For a young man once uncertain of his direction, those rough-hewn logs gave him purpose. With every swing of the axe, his dream was no longer just imagined, it was becoming real. What truly set Erik's journey apart was his decision to film the process. In 2019, he uploaded his first video to YouTube. Unlike most creators, he chose not to speak or narrate. The camera simply captured the rhythm of his work and the sounds of the forest around him. To his surprise, the video quickly drew attention. Viewers from around the world were captivated by the meditative pace, the careful craftsmanship, and the sense of calm that filled each frame. His silence became his signature, allowing the story to unfold without language barriers. People in countless countries could watch and feel connected, regardless of the words they spoke. As his channel grew, Erik discovered that his project resonated far beyond Sweden. At a time when many felt overwhelmed by the noise and rush of modern life, his videos offered a refuge. They became a place to breathe, to slow down, and to remember the beauty of simplicity. The cabin itself became a story told in chapters. Over the years, Erik documented each stage: the raising of walls, the construction of the roof, the carving of windows, and the creation of a stone fireplace. Viewers tuned in not just to watch wood being shaped, but to witness a dream unfolding in real time. Comments flooded in from people who felt they were growing alongside him. Some said his videos helped them through difficult times. Others shared that watching him work inspired them to start their own projects, big or small. His audience became more than passive viewers. They became companions on his journey. By 2025, Erik's channel had reached over 1.6 million subscribers and nearly 300 million views. His content had become a global phenomenon, not through spectacle, but through authenticity. While Erik emphasized the use of hand tools, he also showed a thoughtful balance between tradition and practicality. For example, he used a vintage 1946 Ferguson tractor to help haul heavy logs. Rather than undermining his commitment, this choice revealed his respect for how people in the past combined hand labor with practical tools. It also reminded viewers that his project was not about rejecting all modernity, but about honoring craft and sustainability. This balance helped build trust. Viewers appreciated his honesty, and they respected the integrity he brought to every decision. As the years passed, Erik's project grew into more than a cabin or a YouTube channel. It became a brand, a philosophy, and eventually a business. He launched Grankvist Outdoors, a company dedicated to producing handcrafted goods. His most notable products are cutting boards made from durable Nordic oak. Each one is carefully shaped, finished with homemade wax, and signed by hand with a unique number. These boards are more than kitchen tools. They are personal artifacts that connect buyers directly to Erik's story. Financially, the success was remarkable. By 2025, his estimated net worth reached around $2 million, with an annual income of over $500,000. Yet the true achievement lay not in numbers, but in the trust he had cultivated. His audience believed in his values, and that trust translated naturally into support for his work. As Erik's fame grew, curiosity about his personal life increased. Fans speculated about relationships and even mistook his dog, Alice, for a partner because of her name. In reality, Alice was a beloved family dog, later joined by Bar, his own hunting companion. Despite public interest, Erik has chosen to keep his private life separate from his public persona. This choice reflects his consistent approach. His story is about craftsmanship, patience, and connection to nature, not about personal drama. By drawing that boundary, he has preserved the authenticity that makes his work so appealing. In 2025, after 6 years of effort, Erik completed the cabin. The last episode of the series marked the end of a long journey and the beginning of a new one. Today, he lives in the home he built with his own hands, continuing to share glimpses of daily life in the forest. His focus has shifted from constructing walls to inhabiting them. He now creates videos about cooking, crafting, and living sustainably in the wilderness. His business too continues to grow, with plans to expand into new handmade products. Looking back, Erik's story is more than the tale of a young man building a cabin. It is a reminder of the power of simplicity in a world that often feels overwhelming. His silence has spoken volumes, reminding millions that life does not always need commentary to be meaningful.